Okay, so let's start with a story. It's a bit of a legend, fictional, of course, but it sets the stage perfectly for what we're looking at today. So picture this. Jesus finishes his time on earth, he ascends to heaven, and the Archangel Gabriel is there to meet him.
And Gabriel asks him the big question, right? Does the world down there actually know about the sacrifice you just made?
Exactly. And Jesus gives this kind of underwhelming answer. He says, not really. Just a handful of people in Palestine know about it.
Which you can imagine would be a bit of a shock. Gabriel starts to panic.
He does. He asks, okay, but surely you left a backup plan. Some kind of massive organization if those few people fail. And Jesus just looks at him and says,
There is no plan B.
There is no plan B. And that is the high-stakes opener for the source material we're digging into today.
It's a sermon called He Left 12 in the World from Pastor Sung No at Praise Presbyterian Church. And his whole argument is that the most enduring legacy, it isn't money or buildings or power, it's people.
It's a fascinating strategic breakdown, really. Pastor No points out that Jesus didn't leave behind a fortress or a political party.
No, he left 12 guys.
Just 12 guys. And looking at the text, these weren't exactly the A-team. They were ordinary, flawed individuals in a really corrupt time.
And that's where the sermon introduces this great distinction between a master and a novice. A novice, he says, is obsessed with results.
Hitting the numbers, building the structure.
Exactly. But a master focuses on gaining the people, because the argument is that buildings, well, they eventually crumble or just become a maintenance bill for the next generation.
Right.
But if you invest in human capital, you create something that can actually sustain itself.
He calls it mission expansion versus
church expansion, yeah. And you can see in the materials from Praise Presbyterian, this isn't just a philosophy. They've built their 2026 scholarship ministry to reflect this no plan B idea.
I was looking at that. The financial breakdown is a strict 50-50 split.
It is, which is pretty rare. Half the funds go to what you might call the insiders. The next generation of church leaders, seminarians, kids of missionaries.
But the other half, that's what they call crossing the fence. It's all focused on the community outside the church.
Yeah, they have the Praise Unity Scholarship for students at the local Franklin High School.
And a book club scholarship for local elementary schools like Pine Grove and Smalley.
They even have an Unsung Hero Scholarship specifically for the children of fallen police officers. It's a very deliberate move into the secular world.
It seems like it. And Pastor No ties this back to his own life, doesn't he?
He does. He mentioned that when he was in seminary, something like 85% of the students were on financial aid.
Right. And he says he graduated debt-free because of that generosity, which allowed him to just focus on ministry instead of, paying off huge loans.
So he's essentially trying to replicate that for others. It all connects back to this really sharp question he quotes from an author, Rick Russo. It's a litmus test, really.
What's the question?
If your church vanished, would your community weep? Would anyone even notice?
Wow. That's a brutal question.
It is. It forces you to ask if you're a necessary part of the neighborhood or just a kind of private club.
And the goal, as the sermon frames it, is to become an invisible church.
Right. Not invisible because you're hiding, but because you're so diffused into society like salt or light that the church isn't just a building people drive by.
It's a presence they actually rely on. He uses the phrase small Jesuses for people in their workplaces and their schools. So the legacy isn't the building, it's the person who goes out from the building.
Because at the end of the day, if you only leave buildings to the next generation, you're just leaving them a liability. But if you leave trained, passionate people, well, they can build whatever is needed.
Pastor Noah has this great way of wrapping it all up. He takes an old Korean proverb. It usually goes, tigers leave skins when they die, and humans leave names.
But his update is, tigers leave skins, humans leave names, but the ultimate goal is to leave people.
Because there is no plan B. So that's the question we'll leave you with today. If the only thing that actually lasts is the people you develop, who are you investing in right now? Thanks for deep diving with us.
See you next time.